As IMMAF's Director of Development, tell us about your role and responsibilities.
All right. My remit is quite broad. Everything you touch obviously relates to development. Um, but our ultimate goal, of course, is to recognize this sport, amateur mixed martial arts. And for that, we're doing a number of things. We, of course, building a strong national federation is priority. It starts with development of a task force, which is normally coaches, officials, referees. Then we work closely with national sports authorities. We're trying to tap into their plans and strategies on the national level, taking obviously joint efforts with them in beating sometimes, for example, obesity, tackling crime, knives, engaging kids, keeping them off the streets. Every country has its own national strategy. Which they would love to see the mainstream sports to help them to achieve. Actually, World Health Organization also recommends has a recommendation to make sure that the kids do 60 minutes at least of moderate physical activity every day. So again, that would be impossible to achieve only with the PE lesson in the school. There has to be some sport coming into play. So this is the kind of a complex task, but actually it's similar to any sport is doing. Any person in this position is doing all in any sport is doing all the same. Actually, my previous job was in Samba. Where I was doing absolutely similar things for a good number of years before we made this sport Olympic. This sport received the status of Olympic sport. But prior to that, yes, I was going around and brought to a shape, I would say, almost 30 new federations. But funny enough, my selling point was not selling point. My point of entry was MMA. In those days, let's say 15 years ago, 10, 15 years ago, very much we know that mixed martial arts was quite a gray area, I would say, in many places, pretty much unregulated. So I was just meeting these guys and saying, look, you're doing something great, which is really matching the discipline which exists in Sambo and called combat Sambo. Listen, it's just literally the same, just with the difference is the jacket. Why don't you try? And so this is the way how I got to know, I got to see the mixed martial arts, how it was developed at those days, really on the ground in these clubs. As I say, for me, it was really very gray area. I understand that it's a great sport. My attitude to mixed martial art was always, obviously, always the same. I believe it's a logical evolution of all combat sports, and it definitely deserves to be the sport in its own right. So when I left Samba, completing the mission, obviously I started working on that project. Actually, I joined IMMAF for one reason. I saw that there is a leadership here, willing and capable to change the face of that sport. I mean, amateur mixed martial art. Draw the clear line between the professional shows and amateur sport with safe rules. And that's why I joined with excitement. I understand we can do it because we know how to do it. And we're working towards these goals.